up, everybody? Happy Horror Tuesday. It's your boy Blaze Horror. About to do a video on creature features. This is monster movies, deformed or chemicals, accident type spills that cause your average city rat to become a wild, insane, crazy, mutated beast. So let's get started. First up, get the Blu-ray out of the way. Cloverfield. One of them films, when it came out, it took me a little, probably about the second or third time I watched it, I really started getting into this film. It's one of them handheld type films. There's a character running around with the video camera. Filmed in New York, Manhattan. Great scene on the Brooklyn Bridge. This beast comes up out of the ocean and attacks the city, New York City. Place of refuge where everybody's trying to get to in the beginning is across the Brooklyn Bridge into Brooklyn. There's a group of friends at a going away party that the film is mainly focused on, those characters. Pretty good film. And then they also did another one that they put out was Super 8. Is another cool film. To me, the Super 8 is like the Goonies meets Stranger Things. It's another cool movie. I'll probably do a video on Super 8 because I know I have it somewhere. Shut up, cat. Next up we have Piranha. Now, I believe when this came out, this was Piranha 3D, starring Ving Rhames, Elizabeth Shue from, what was a little bit Elizabeth Shue in? Oh, Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid. She was also in a horror movie with Kevin Bacon called Hollow Man. Pretty much the Invisible Man reamped up for 90s viewers. But I like this right here. It's cool. It's got Jerry O'Connell from Stand By Me. He's great in this movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. The next feature we have, oh, this is a classic, man. To me, it's more of a comedy, but it's great. It's starring the lead actor from Firefly series, and that's Slither. Great film, like little slugs, sort of like the Night of the Creeps. Same effect when they get into your mouth. They can control your body like your brainless zombie type corpse. Very hysterical. It also has the actor that played Daryl's brother in The Walking Dead, Merle. He also appears in it, and Merle, that same actor. Let me look up his name. Man, I know his name, but shoot. Oh, Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker is great in this. He's the main antagonist that these worms go into. It's hysterical. If you haven't seen it, look up the trailer. Take it from there. Next up we got, it's another one I picked up from the Dollar Tree. It's like the martial arts, Shogun type stuff of the old days. Cool monster in it. These guys, this group of, band of swordsmen, so to speak, go up against it. It's good special effects. Very cool. I think I'll watch that one today again. Oh, here's an old-time classic favorite starring Rutger Hauer. Rutger Hauer also appeared in, oh man, what was it? Shoot. Oh man. I forgot what it was. Where he plays a hitchhiker. Oh, The Hitcher. This movie right here is cool. This alien. bad. He is, I tell you, get busy. Classic though, I love it. It's another film, if you don't have it in your collection, it's a great sci-fi horror to add to your home horror collection if you're a horror fan. Next up we got Carney, starring Lou Diamond Phillips. Lou Diamond Phillips starred in No Bamba, Young Guns 1 and 2, a slew of movies. He's still putting out films. 2-3 years ago, I went to a Jersey Comic Con in Parsippany. I got to see him there. That was awesome. Next up, another great film. It's got starring Scott Taylor Compton and Olivia Liccardi, and that's Feral. Group of friends go out to the woods for the weekend and camp out in a cabin. And there's some kind of odd, I want to say virus or some whatever the deal is. Animals are spreading it around, I guess. Sort of like a high strain of rabies, but makes all these people go nuts. Really insane and buck-wilding horror movie. I think it should have got more praise than what it did. Great movie right here. The creatures in it, the way the people and the animals look, man, it's nuts. Next up we got, which I don't mind this movie too much, we have The Cave. Underwater mines. This particular group of divers go in there to check out the cave systems. Hired by a guy and a woman to go down and do check out the water, take samples and whatnot. This is an indigenous, I want to say, type of parasite that if you get infected with, whether you're a person or an animal, you turn into these wild looking creatures. Which they don't sell the creature on the front, but there's his mouth, man, and they're vicious. Cool disc, I guess, huh? Next up we got, two classics. I don't have the first one. I don't know what happened to the first one of mine, where it went. Might have lent it out and never got it back, but we got Feast 2. Feast 3. I love both of these films. Actually, I like both of these films more than I like the first one. Shout out to Jason Mewes. He appeared in the first one, and Tretch from Naughty by Nature. Shout out to Tretch and Jason Mewes for their roles in this movie. They were awesome. Jason Mewes loses the skin on his face from this little creature that gets in there. Awesome movies for the horror collection. If you don't have them, great beast, great creature feature type films. Next up we got Chupacabra. I mentioned this in a couple of my videos off and on already. The 90s Channel 11 WB Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. The special effects that they had to where they dubbed creatures and all this other special effects. In live action, but quite doesn't blend in perfectly, you know what I mean? That's the 90s stuff. Chupacabra. I liked it actually, it was cool. On a ship the whole time. Very cool. I didn't mind it at all. Now there's some movies that were made, you know, like the 90s special effects for television that completely blow. Woo! Alright. Old Marvel comic book. Man-Thing. More of an anti-hero slash super beast slash creature feature type film. Almost like a Native American type background story to the creature itself, being that it's trying to shut down this oil refinery pretty much. inside the bayous there in Louisiana. And a little more amped up than what the Swamp Thing is. Not comical like the Swamp Thing, which to me that's why I haven't really watched the Swamp Thing in years. Kind of like grew out of it. To me it's not like a horror. But anyway, yeah, this Man-Thing is a cool film. It's also got like the 90s style special effects in it, but this is awesome. There's a lot of blood. The blood, they don't spare no expense when it comes to the blood and the carnage. Awesome film. Next up, we got another classic. Starring Lance Henriksen. Pumpkinhead. We all know the backstory to this. I mean, come on. Most of the creature features, he's got to be in my top 3 of the creatures feature type films. Awesome. Show the disc. Pumpkinhead. I love Pumpkinhead, man. What if? Next to Halloween, this is also always in my Halloween movie lineup. Next up, we got It Waits. Creature running around the woods, comes out of a cave system. This girl, she works in the tower, you know, up in the woods and mountains, reserve forests and so forth. So the majority of the film will take place up in this, what do you call, I don't even know what you would call the tower. I want to say it's not lifeguard because that's for the water. Great film though. Next up, oh man, I love this film. I watched this more than several times, probably more than 6 to 8 times a year at least. And it's the director who did the original Spawn. It's Frankenfish. This guy made an appearance for a little while on the Sons of Anarchy. One of the Indian City gang leaders that did business with the Sons. But this is a ship they're bringing from China. China has these fish that they create to make big because they make them for sport, for hunting. They got the instinct of piranhas. So this big rich game hunter type guy orders them some from China, and they're coming through. They wind up in the Louisiana bayou, stuck and shipwrecked there. A little tiny boat, I didn't say ship. And these fish get loose and swimming around the bayou. They can jump up on on land, grab you, snatch you back in. Vicious. And they're all babies. But if you haven't seen this, look up the video today. This is a fun time watching. Man, I feeling all rough like it's Monday. Is it Tuesday? Splinter. It's another one. Sort of like the porcupine type monster in there. These little porcupines. You pinch by them or whatever. You start to turn all nasty. And then all the points, like all this black mucus and slime. Very cool film. This actor right here, he appeared in the Boardwalk Empire. You got a great cast. Shows somewhat of what you start to look like if you get affected. That's the guy's girlfriend. This guy right there is his girlfriend. At one point they wind up at this service station, and the majority of the movie's there. A cop shows up. Man, that's a real gruesome part. This lady cop shows up. They spared no expense on the nastiness, the slime, and the blood. Very cool. Highly recommend that film for a horror collector if you don't already have it in your home horror collection. Next up, we got somewhat of a classic. I wound up favoring number 2 over this. There's a little more character based, a little more stuff going on in number 2. This is the original one. If you haven't seen it, it's a group of friends. women that go on this thrill seekers as far as like cave systems, want to discover a new cave. This one of her friends, Juno, finds this cave system and nobody been down it, but somebody has been down it. They just never make it back up out of there because of the creatures that are inside. Now these creatures are blind, and even though they're blind, they have no problem ripping you apart and getting to you in the dark. Cool movie. I did get a little emotional with this one girl when she gets it. But it's awesome. Next up, we got another. Oh man, this is. I gotta get it on Blu-ray. The Host. Mutated Fish. In the beginning, the guy who played Herschel on The Walking Dead, some kind of scientist, and he has the guy who working for him, his assistants, dump this vile stuff down into the drain of the sink, and the guys tell him no, we shouldn't do that, it's going to pollute the water. And he told him to go ahead and do it anyway, or you're pretty much going to lose your job, whatever the story was. So he mutates this fish that could jump up on land and chase people on land. Which that's an awesome scene when he's chasing all these people through this park field next to the water. Very cool. The main characters is this little girl's father, but he's sort of like a teenage-minded type dude. He's real cool. He's funny. I mean, I enjoy the film. I can follow the subtitle if I'm really into a film, and this has real simple to follow the subtitle. But yeah, The Host is a great film. Should have got more recognition than what it did. Type of film that even though it's B-rated to a C-rated film, in a way you really don't want them to ever remake it because it's such a classic, and the actors, I'm telling you, this little girl's father will carry you through the movie whether you understand what they're saying or not. I love Asian horror films. I love them. They're real good at what they do. Last but not least, I got a film starring Guy Pearce, Katie Holmes. It's a remake of an old classic back from when I was younger. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. This one's by Guillermo del Toro. They're all familiar with him. He does really great creature type films, and the outfits and the special effects are outrageous, and all his films are great. The only thing I really didn't like too much was the creatures themselves, as opposed to what the original ones back in the late 70s, early 80s, I believe it came out. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, and they're a little egghead. Midget-sized kids, egghead little dudes that came up out of this woman's furnace, whatever, like a doorway to hell, whatever the deal is, and they're telling this woman, you hear whispering the whole time, Sally, we want your soul, Sally, we want your soul. It's more of a the original one's more of a psychological, and this one's more of a creature feature. Most of the times I prefer the creature feature over the psychological. But in this case, the original one, as opposed to this remake, is a better film that I enjoy. Once again, I thank you for viewing my content. Feel free to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification buttons for upcoming videos. And like I always say, enjoy your horror Tuesday, and I'll see you soon. Time for me to wake up and have my coffee.